Hello friends, Adam here with FED. So we just got a massive Fire Emblem Engage trailer full of information, particularly about how emblem rings and engaging is going to work and like some of the different skills and stuff that come along with them, but also just tons of other random stuff from classes, enemy types, maps. It's kind of insane how much they showed us just barely in a 5-minute trailer. And it's only out in Japanese at this point. I'm assuming we're going to get an English version of this trailer relatively soon. But for now, this is what we're going to have to work with. Us English speakers are going to have to try and work with the subtitles that have been put on this video. So just so you guys know, I'll put a link to the original video, but I'll also put a link to the one that I'm using here, which has closed captions in English. It was done by a fan, a dude by the name of CGTO. So I'll make sure to link that for you guys. Okay. So, we learned a lot about engaging and a lot about the emblem rings. We're going to talk about that. Before we do that, though, please consider becoming a member. We only need 25 members. We only need a few more members to reach 25 members, and then we'll be doing our big Fire Emblem marathon. So if you wouldn't mind supporting the channel, that would mean a lot to me. So if you're willing and able, please click the join button and help us out. All right, so today, I don't want to go in too much on some of the other stuff in this video. I want to focus on the rings and engaging, and I want to give you kind of my early thoughts on which rings that they've shown off so far, which there's 6 of them that they show off here, and give you kind of my early thoughts on which ones I think are going to be the best. So let's get started. They start off with Marth, obviously, for obvious reason. We see here that he attacks, and this must be a skill of his that he gives to his units that he's equipped to, Marth. He has like a little attack in the middle that deals 50% damage. And we see it happen here, but we also see it happen later when they show it off. They also show it happen here, which is, well, here they show like the stats off and stuff. Cool, all that's fine and good. But right here, I mean, this is weird. So 50% damage attack on the second attack there, and then another full attack. I don't know if that's the awareness skill that's in the bottom corner there, or if it's just a Marth skill thing, or if it happens with all emblem rings or something. We don't really get to see that very well. Actually, we do. We know that doesn't happen with all of them. I think Marth's whole thing is just going to be extra attack damage as an emblem ring. And as you'll see, the emblem rings tend to have like a thing they specialize in, something they're really good at. Like that's their thing. Marth's seems to be just like outright damage and just like a solid, just a solid ring in general, right? So cute stuff, awesome. Moving on, we get to see them engage, and then we get to see our first emblem combat art. So there's every emblem when you engage with them, I assume there's gonna be a type bonus required or whatever, a style bonus it says there. I think it's type bonus in English. But then you get this combat art, and here we see this one, 6 times 9. So 9 attacks in a single go. I don't know what the damage ratio is, if it's like 50% damage, or maybe it's even like something like 33% damage or something, but still 9 attacks is kind of insane. So basically super Astra, which is kind of awesome. And if you notice, there's no weapon durability in this game from what we can tell. So that's not going to be like a bad thing. It's just like a net gain, which is really cool. So that looks really sick. Moving on, we get to see some more engages. They show off Byleth, Corrin, Celica, and Sigurd as well. Oh, and Lynn. Yeah, forgot about her, to mention her. Sigurd seems kind of busted, I'm not going to lie. So we have Sigurd here. This is cool. Look at that. That's in some insane movement right there, right? Insane movement. But they show this off. So this is not engaged with Sigurd, and then on the bottom it is engaged with Sigurd. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 move without being engaged, right? Okay, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6 without him being engaged, and then it's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 spaces while engaged. So Sigurd's just like, oh, you want to be able to move the entire map? Don't mind me. He essentially gives like stride to a unit, except it seems kind of, that's just kind of bonkers to me. 13 move, unless I counted it wrong, but it's somewhere around there. So that's kind of busted. Engaged Sigurd is going to be your move boy. Tons of move. Absolute crap ton of move. This is Overdrive or Override. I can't remember what it's called. I love this right here. Right there. Boom. It can critical. So it's a map attack that goes through enemies and can critical attack, which is just kind of insane on its own. Like, I could imagine getting like a high crit build and then throwing Sigurd on there and just like decimating enemies that way. It'd be really fun. But actually, Corrin has something similar that I'll talk about later. That's really, really cool. So that's a look at Sigurd. I think he's like early favorite for probably most valuable ring. That might change though. Celica is obviously really cool. We've seen her thing. She can warp, which is cool. But this is a cool thing. So in engaged, so you see right here it says 50% on that option that's selected. Celica's whole thing is that she can split her attacks between like 2 enemies, right? So it'll show it off here. So she does half of an attack here, same turn still. She uses the other half of her magic attack on this guy. That's kind of insane. It looks like she can still double with that too, which is kind of bonkers. And then we see her warp into Ragnarok, which I doubt those need to be done at the same time. You can probably just like warp into magic, or maybe you have to do warp into Ragnarok. I don't know. But Celica looks pretty busted, not gonna lie. Being able to warp is really good, and the range, the range is pretty massive. She can warp pretty far, man. How many pits? Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14-ish. Like between 12 and 14-ish spaces she can warp right here. I don't know, maybe that's probably a magic stat thing. Maybe it can go up or down depending on how strong the unit is themselves. But this is kind of, man, that's insane. If there's ever like a kill boss map, that's just like a win condition. Have Celica warp. Really cool. Really excited for that. And it looks like her special combat art is Ragnarok. I wonder if it's just Ragnarok or if it's like Ragnarok Omega or whatever it was in Echoes. All right, now we get to see Corrin. And then we get to see Byleth as well. And Lynn, here we go. But I think Corrin is relatively interesting. I think she's the next ring that they actually show off in gameplay. Yeah, so Corrin is all about Dragon Veins. You know, if you've played Fire Emblem Fates, you know that Dragon Veins can affect terrain or something in the battlefield. It's always predetermined what it can do on what maps and stuff. But here, I'm not sure how it's going to work entirely because we see different effects. So Corrin here, they uses an ability here to, and this isn't even an engage ability, this is just an ability, to create an HP field, essentially, a healing field. So it got rid of those fire tiles. I assume it got rid of those fire tiles. Those are probably safe to move across now. And also, there's like probably like 20% healing or something. I don't know. I don't see a number anywhere. Something along those lines. Here's another one where Corrin creates water tiles, it looks like. I wonder which give, I imagine that's minus 30 avoid in the top left corner. And I wonder if this is going to be a, like, as you level up Corrin, there's going to be more and more options you can select for different terrain. And HP is probably just like the base, and maybe you can add like the water, maybe you can add fire and different stuff, which is really cool. And it looks like terrain is going to be like different kinds of like damaging terrain are going to be a big part of the game looking at this. So Corrin might be really useful. And we get to see, yeah, get to see like some, I don't know, what's that attack called in... It's not like Drake. It's not like Draconic Raid or something like that. But in Fates, it's her like arm cannon thing that she has for some reason. But then we see that she has some debuffing effects, probably like Draconic Hex, right, from Fates, and they affect everyone who gets hit by this attack. We see it goes off multiple times. So all these enemies that just got hit by that just got jacked up. Wait, is that a player unit? Sorry. Oh, no, it's an enemy. Okay, I thought that was a player unit right next to her. Doesn't look like that can kill, though. I wonder if that's the case. Maybe that attack can't kill. But look at all those status effects, man. That's kind of nasty. So I think Corrin has opportunity to be like a great utility ring. Probably won't be the flashiest out of everybody. and will probably get looked past as like a really good one. But we'll have to see in gameplay how important field effects and stuff like that are. But still, really cool attack there. Now Byleth, sword looks kind of weird. Byleth, he essentially has rally. He can rally everybody. I don't know exactly what this rally does. I don't know if that just like gives them like, you know, added speed or strength, defense, whatever it is, but it's still that's fun to see, and it makes sense for Byleth's character. But this is stupid. Byleth's super engaged combat art is a 4-person dance. He gives people their turn back, which is kind of insane. Like, that's not just me that thinks that's insane, right? Like, holy crap. That's commonly gonna be talked about as the best ability, right? Because just 4 extra turns. Think about that. You combine that with other units who are engaged, and you're just gonna pop off. You're gonna have some insane turns that way. Absolutely insane turns that way. And Lynn, our last emblem that gets shown off here. I think it's really funny. So you're gonna see that they play off the whole thing with Lynn's critical attacks and animations in the GBA game. I was gonna say games, but she's only in one of them. But in Blazing Sword, where she essentially creates like shadow clones, like Naruto shadow clones, and kind of pops off and kills people and stuff. And yeah, you see all that here. It's pretty sick. So like they keep appearing and then they attack. And then this is really interesting to me too. So when engaged, so those were like sword attacks, but the person who's engaged here, I think this is Ivy, who is the like malignite looking lady. She uses magic here, which is like her base weapon type, right? So she doesn't switch to bow entirely, but this is also kind of cool. Her basically has like Astra Ballista as her combat art. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this, guys. These emblems are pretty cool. Then we finally get an explanation about how this actually works here, with how to fill up this bar and like actually get to use the engage and how long it lasts. So it looks like they kill here, and then they get this tiny little aura that comes away from this enemy. So they like suck out the enemy's soul or something. That's what it looks like. And then it fills up a bar of this meter. And this meter is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 long, right? So I guess you have to kill 7 enemies, or there's probably other ways to gain this meter as well. But you kill 7 enemies, it fills up your meter. As we see there, it gets all full up, and they're ready to engage, right? They're ready to engage. And once they are engaged, they explain in the trailer that it's 3 turns. That's what that 3 is by Marth's picture there. So they have 3 turns. I don't know if it's 3 turns or 3 actions. So I wonder if you were to do an action, dance for them, and then they attack again, if it goes down 2 or if it's per turn. That's yet to be seen. But yeah, that's basically what I want to talk about. This is really cool, man. I'm really excited for all this. There's some crazy stuff going on. But I think that's where we'll call it today. I'll quickly give you a rundown of what I think are from what we've seen, what are going to be considered like the better rings as far as like an outside meta perspective. I think Byleth is going to be seen as incredibly good because of the 4-person dance. Then I think Sigurd is going to be seen as incredibly good because of all the extra movement that he gives. And I could see people saying Celica is even better than Sigurd, though, because of the massive self-warp into an attack. So that really just depends on how the game works. If there are like a lot of seize maps or kill boss maps or anything like that, then yeah, that's kind of busted. Warp Ragnarok is going to be kind of the thing, right? And the splitting up attack is, honestly, it's not going to be super useful, I don't think. But it's going to be pretty cool. Because one rounding is generally the goal in Fire Emblem, right? But so I think Sigurd and Celica both kind of have a similar opportunity to be seen as really, really good. Following that is probably going to be like Marth and Lynn of the ones we've seen so far. I think Marth has an opportunity to be really good as like a player phase nuke, but that doesn't, again, it just depends on how the game is. If that's what you want, you might want a better like enemy phase tank kind of thing going on. And finally, to round it out, I think Lynn is going to be seen in kind of a similar fashion as Marth, as being kind of like a player phase nuke, but not much more. And then not Byleth, sorry. At the bottom is going to be Corrin. But again, that could change. That could all change depending on how important affecting terrain is. But at this point, I see Corrin being a fairly underwhelming ring. And again, this could all change once we find out the stat bonuses that they give and what characters they affect and how they interact with those. There's tons of things that could change. But for now, that's kind of what I'm going with. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments. What do you think of all these emblems and engaging and all that stuff? Really cool stuff we're seeing here. And of course, if you're able and willing, please help us reach 25 members. At the time of recording this, we have 21, which I really appreciate all of you guys. But if we get to 25, that would be incredible. We'll be doing some fun stuff if we get there. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time, friends.